So I had a comment on one of my recent videos asking what my software tech stack is for my social media marketing agency. And I almost laughed when reading this comment, thinking about just how basic and hilariously simple my software stack really is. But I realized it was still a good video idea to make because there's some underlying message here that I think is really important that I can get views from, that you can benefit from. Now, there are 7 main things in my software stack, but again, if you can just understand the one underlying message here within this video, it will vastly change the trajectory of your agency just completely on its own. So watch it all the way through, make sure you fully understand, again, just this, literally it's one thing, it's not hard. But first, I'm just gonna dive into the tech really quick, the software, and just tell you what all I use. Number 1, Loom. If you don't know what Loom is, basically it's a screen recording software that allows you to put a little face cam on the bottom, do audio recordings as well, and then when you hit the complete button, it creates a link and automatically uploads it for you instantly. It's super fast. You can title the videos and then basically send people personalized videos, best for your clients and for your team. Super, super useful. Some people use Looms. I mean, you may have heard of people doing Loom outreach. That's a thing as well. Now, hit like because Loom has a free plan, so you can use 10 videos and just keep deleting them and recreating them. Probably not if you're doing outreach because people, you're gonna wanna make sure they see it. But you can just keep cycling the free plan if you want. Number 2, Zapier. If you don't know what Zapier is, basically it just links one software to another and allows you to do more with the things that you have. And it's just really good for convenience in general. But with Zapier, it's really easy. You can just set up what's called a Zap, where pretty much you can like have a trigger. So a new lead comes in, then you automatically text or email one of your clients, hey, new lead came in, here are their details. The next one, wow, super crazy, super exciting, Zoom. I use Zoom to take sales calls. Not really much more I can tell you. You do need to pay 20 bucks a month if you want to have multiple users in the room past 40 minutes. Or actually, no, it's just past 40 minutes in general. For meetings longer than 40 minutes, you do need to pay 20 bucks a month now or something like that. So kind of sucks that they changed that, but I use Zoom. Number 4, there's actually kind of like a bonus lesson here, and I'm going to get to that lesson in a little bit that I was talking about before. But number 4, I use Google Calendar, and I've talked about this in previous videos, but if you track every single task that you do every single day, if you've seen my calendar before, it's kind of nutty looking, where it's just completely cluttered and crazy start to finish by the end of every day. Starting off at the beginning of the day, if I have a bunch of sales calls, it'll just be pretty clean. But by the end of the day, sales calls don't show up. I do other work, I follow up with certain people, and it just gets completely crowded. But the beauty of this is you can pay attention to what tasks you're spending most of your time on, so that you really easily identify, just clicking back a couple over the past few weeks on your Google Calendar, you can see what's taking up most of your time and what would be the easiest things to delegate. So highly recommend using Google Calendar and just writing down every single thing that you do. Number 5, another totally surprising one, the Google Suite. Google Docs, Google Sheets, Slideshow, Google Slides. It's all good. It's just like all the Microsoft stuff you used to have on the school computer, but on the cloud, online, access it anywhere, super easy, super good. I don't use Excel or any of this stuff. Like, I just use Google Sheets for like all of my tracking. Google Sheets is beautiful. Like, oh, I love tracking so much. If you love tracking, you're probably already using Google Sheets, but you can get real creative. Like, you don't need to like have some super specific, tracking sheet that you get from some expert. It's like, just divide this by this and there's your percentage of show ups, right? It's really easy stuff. Now, number 6, which a lot of you are probably curious about for what I use for, I guess, like my client accounts and everything, I do use High Level. So again, pretty unsurprising. But then number 7 for my calendar, I actually use Calendly because about a year ago or so, I had a lot of issues with High Level. It sucked. The calendar integration kept breaking. I kid you not, my Zoom account would unlink from High Level once a week. And so people weren't getting their links. I'm sitting on Zoom calls and people aren't showing up. And then like, I'm sure they fixed it at this point, but I was just like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'll just pay the 10 bucks a month and use Calendly. But yeah, comment if this list surprised you. But going on to the underlying message here. The underlying message is that your software doesn't make your agency. You make your agency. A software to you, to an entrepreneur, is what a lathe is to a carpenter. A carpenter can do amazing things with a lathe, but the carpenter has to be good enough to know how to use a lathe and get the objectives, the outcomes that they want. So all these things that you're using, again, I use Google Docs. Like, there's nothing fancy about Google Docs. I just know what I'm doing, so it works for me. So if you can just understand this one concept, which is that you need to learn how to use your software, you need to learn how to run a business, how to communicate with people, how to copyright, how to write good emails, whatever it is. That's the stuff that really matters. The software is just how you get things done. There are ones that are better than others for your use case. I just started using the Google Suite like years ago, so I just kept using it. Like I used Evernote at one point, and then I was like, the Google Suite's easier, so I just did that. Zapier helps me send notifications to people, link with clients, external CRMs. Zoom helps me take my sales video calls. Loom helps me communicate with my team. High level's like perfect for agency owners. It's what it's made for. And then Calendly just solved my little high level problem, which again, I hope is solved in general. Now, another place where people get tripped up not only is the software that they're using, but it's also the niche that they're choosing in their agency. So I made a video on 5 new niches that people really aren't talking about that you can scale to 50K a month, and honestly, far beyond that. So there will be a video on screen. Go watch that now. See you there.